a quail coming like right over here. Come on, quails. Show yourselves. In the middle of the Mojave Desert, looking for sparrows. We've been camped out in the Mojave for like a week, just hanging out, getting work done. I've been going out in the afternoons for a walk to stretch my legs and get off the computer. And I've been seeing these birds that to me are kind of like iconic symbol of the Mojave. And it's a sparrow. You might think good sparrows aren't that big of a deal, but these sparrows are really cool. And you're not going to see these sparrows many other places here in the United States. There's some other areas of the desert that you don't have to be in the Mojave to see them, but they're desert specialists. Certainly this area of the Southwest is the only place in the lower 48 where you're going to see them. They don't migrate north. They're just fully adapted to life in the extreme desert. They're called black-throated sparrows, and they're really cool looking. I mean, they look exactly like you'd think they look. They have this super black throat, but then also kind of this fancy eyebrow stripe. I've been seeing a ton of them on my walks, but now that I've decided to try and film them, they've been really hard to locate. You ever see shadows that long? There's something super unique about these like long, sloping hillsides where these shadows just sweep across them at sunset. So much texture and color. The red color barely looks real. Look at that. Sometimes the color out here seems like hyper real. I have to try again tomorrow. Sparrows are a really good gateway drug into realizing you don't know shit about nature. Well, for me it was anyway. Before I started getting more seriously interested in birds, and I would have told you pretty much my whole life that I would have considered myself somebody who's interested in birds and has, above average knowledge of birds. But I certainly wouldn't have called myself a birder. I don't even know that I was necessarily aware of that term or idea of a birder. I knew of bird watching as sort of an activity, but I didn't really understand the sort of identity surrounding birders and birding. But when I did start birding more seriously, I realized, I didn't really know much at all about birds. Kind of like anyone else, I was noticing the most conspicuous birds, big ones, medium to large sized birds that are easy to see, and then the small birds I just kind of lumped all together, and that's definitely true of sparrows. I just kind of thought there was a sparrow. Sparrow was a type of bird. I didn't realize how many species there were. There's like a gazillion. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but I don't know. What we have access to here in North America are probably somewhere between 10 and 20 different species of sparrow, and they're all super unique and cool and different looking and live in wildly different places. Woodpecker. Oh, so cool. It's a ladderback woodpecker. Which is cool. I've never seen one in the landscape quite like this. I've seen them up in cottonwood trees. But this one's, the closest thing to a tree out here is the cholla, and it's just pecking in the cholla. Awesome. I love it out here.
Like my new shutter sound. I do.
It's like tracking in winter. All the critters leave behind sign in the sand. Footprints and tail prints. Sign of the rat. Is it the year of the rat?
Is it?
I don't know, is it?
No idea.
They build their burrows underneath these plants because the roots help give structure. We gonna see kangaroo rats at dusk or what?
I feel like there's a good chance. Seen lots of tracks from them so far.
Year of the rat. A bunch of endemic insects that live in these dunes. Which is crazy because it's such a small area. There's 7 different species of insects that are endemic here, which means that they only exist here, nowhere else in the world. This might be one of them, I don't know. It's some kind of darkling beetle, but I don't know if any of the darklings here are endemic. Natural art. The wind blows the grass And the grass draws in the sand. What do you see up there?
Sand.
That sounds right. Most of the time it draws these sort of curved single strokes, but sometimes in the right conditions it makes this kind of ornate, feathery pattern. Pretty cool.
Here it comes. Luke's big tail. They're so pretty. It's so cool to see them that close. To hear them make their little noises. A very pretty song. Well, should we just walk back to the truck and keep birding, or we haven't made it very far? Too many good birds out here. How you're supposed to get anything done?
One of the most spectacular things about these dunes is that they sing.
You hear it?
When the sand in these dunes gets moving, it resonates at a certain frequency specific only to this set of dunes. You hear that? There's a number of them throughout the world that do this, but each one has its own unique tone. And when you hear it, man, it's just otherworldly. You can feel it resonating through your whole body.
Oh my god.
Cold sand though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cold. Oh, it's so cold. It feels like I'm standing in a frigid river.
last couple of years I've really been feeling the whole mid-30s thing. Getting old. Good, are you?
Don't hang around for a long time, okay?
I got you.
I don't want this fucking complaining.
I got you. When am I gonna do my last nollie backside flip? Someday. Never too old to get kicked out. All right, I'll leave. New year, same state, different bottom feeder. We wanted to get around to doing this last year when we came into Phoenix and fished for grass carp with Casey, but just didn't end up having the time. But yeah, now we're getting an opportunity. We just have one day here, but a chance to try and catch a super cool Sonoran desert endemic fish. I mean, a fish that's growing in popularity in the last 5-10 years for anglers, but historically a very underappreciated fish. You know, there's a lot of trout guys and gals out there, or whatever, just general like sport fish anglers who would think that fishing for a sucker is lame, or that they're, you know, trash fish, rough fish, ugly fish, sucker lips. But the truth of the matter is, when you're in the know, you know that fishing for suckers is f***ing based. These fish are herbivores. Essentially, they feed almost entirely on aquatic vegetation. They don't really eat bugs or fish, which is, you know, what most flies are imitating. So the key here is just to use flies that are at least the color of plant life. We're fishing chartreuse streamers, nymphs, lychee looking things.
They're all swimming by it though.
They don't really like chase down food because they're not really predatory in that way. So the key is just to drop this thing right in front of their face, and they think that it's just a little passing blade of grass or piece of algae or whatever. Yeah, you can see the fish, but you can put 100 casts in front of them and they won't eat it.
I saw when it landed on it. I knew it was gonna be a problem.
But every now and again, time it just right. Might get lucky. Ooh, I got one coming up right now. Oh, that's a good one. Holy Jesus. Big sucker. Oh.
Big boy. Oh boy. Oh, I see him.
Ooh, a huge one. Come here, show me your beautiful lips. Pow, right in the kisser.
Did you touch its lips?
Yeah, I had to get the hook out.
Oh yeah. Really pretty color.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Wow.
We'll move down a little bit. Sucker eats. I eat.
I feel like a sucker would probably love a cheese puff.
I don't know. I don't think a sucker loves anything. I don't even know how I'm catching one. Tempted it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Jesus.
Kind of a blue color to the fins, huh?
Freshwater bonefish. Get out of the rocks.
Holy.
It's a hog. Well, that was short-lived. They're releasing water from the dam. It's just totally blown out. It's nothing but murk now. You could see so many fish here an hour ago. Now you can't see any of them. Well, same bird, different desert. We're in the Sonoran desert outside of Tucson right now. We're in the Mojave. And I don't normally see the sparrows, black-throated sparrows out here. We camp here all the time, but for some reason this year, in this spot, they're here. Well, the black-throated sparrows remain incredibly elusive to get good shots of. I'm, of course, just standing out here like an idiot. I don't have a blind or anything to hide behind, but it seems like whatever rhythm or timing that a bird is on perching in one spot before moving is like exactly the amount of time that it takes me to find it, rack focus onto it, and lock on for a shot. It's like without fail. If it's there for 10 seconds, it takes me 9 seconds to even focus. If it's there for 4 seconds, it takes me 3 seconds. But as soon as I'm on it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the shot. It just takes off. Classic. Crystal's thrasher. This is an epic bird. How sick was the thrasher?
Like, the bill is like bigger than its head. So weird. What's that?
Quails.
So many quails.
Yeah, then something I wasn't expecting was all these black-tailed gnat catchers. Just like the tiniest bird.
Literally being surrounded. So cool. Like a little cartoon bird.
I spent months trying to see a black-tailed gnatcatcher and failing. And then it seemed like as soon as I stopped trying, they just started showing up everywhere. And I've seen like 30 or 40 in the last couple of weeks. It's probably a lesson in there about life or something. Birds can smell the desperation. Fun fact about the black-tailed gnatcatcher. It's one of the smallest songbirds in North America. It's an indicator species. Wherever you find healthy, intact ecosystems, in the appropriate ecosystem here in the desert, you'll find black-tailed gnatcatchers, and you won't find them in places where human structures dominate the landscape. They just don't do well. They really need pristine, unadulterated, and interconnected habitat. Also, they mate for life, which is really a strange life strategy for songbirds. That's not typical, kind of rare, and admirable. That discovery about sparrows has kind of led me to a second ecological revelation in my life. The first real one being with native fish. Yeah, I've realized that there's just so much that I don't know. And I guess really there's so much that nobody knows. We're still learning. We, the human race, is still learning every day more about fish, birds, wildlife, ecology. Birding certainly teaches you to slow down and observe, which is a practice that I'm super familiar with from fishing and being on streams, but you kind of have a hyper focus when you're doing that on one particular thing, You're focused on what's going on and below the water. You're not necessarily focusing your attention on what's happening in the trees or the bushes or the rocks behind you. And by its nature of birds sort of being able to inhabit anywhere from the ground to the sky at any given moment, you're kind of forced to be paying close attention to everything else. And yeah, that's one of the cool things about being out here, is that from a distance it all looks pretty sort of uniform and monotonous. It's just sort of a sea of brown and gray and green. Just looks like a bunch of little shrubs in this sort of arid, flat, empty desert. When you start looking closely, there's a lot of diversity. There's 3 or 4 different species of cholla, a couple different species of yucca, and then just 100 different species of small shrub, grass-like things that I don't know anything about. It's just like a great mystery, which is kind of magical. I want to learn more about it, but I'm also tempted to never learn. Leave room for magic and imagination. saw the craziest thing out here earlier. I saw a dragonfly. Which, yeah, is an aquatic insect. Not a lot of water. And just one. I don't know where the hell it came from. I don't know of any nearby water sources. There must be some sort of a spring or tank out here.